My name is Linda Beardsley. I am a teaching professor in the Department of Education, and I will be serving as your MC for this Phase 2 ceremony. Before we begin Phase 2, I would like to request that you refrain from taking any photos in the stage area, both during and immediately following the ceremony. Photographers are present at the front bottom of the stage to capture the congratulatory gesture of your program and your student. We will also be recording today's ceremony for graduates and guests not able to attend in person today. The photos and video recording will be made available. At the conclusion of today's ceremony, graduates, faculty of education, and the leadership program will have the opportunity to take photos and connect. Restrooms are available upstairs. The elevator to the second floor is out the gym doors to the left, and straight ahead. There is a water fountain around the corner from the elevator. There are signs posted in the hall to direct you. Please now welcome our 2026 graduates from the Department of Education and the Graduate School of Arts and Sciences Leadership Program. Welcome. I'm here. Please join me in welcoming the faculty of the Department of Education and the Leadership Program. Dean Barbara Brizuela, Susan Barahal, Lilu Barbosa, Maritza Barros, Meredith Edelstein, Brian Gravel, Alicia Gray, Scott Greenspan, Chris Hall, Andrew Ejak, math sometimes gets that kind of, Hong Lee, Patricia Palmer, Takesha Pierre, Stacy Pawinski, Shamika Powell, Ryan Redmond, Julia Savoda, our chair. Faculty will please be seated. And I guess the graduates can be seated too. This ceremony celebrates the accomplishments of the students who have been studying for several degrees in our education department and for the master's degree in leadership. It is our tradition in this Phase 2 ceremony that we feature student speakers from each program. Each speaker has been chosen by their peers to speak to the experiences their cohort has had pursuing their studies. We consider this to be a fitting tradition. In each of the programs represented here today, students have learned that their voices matter. They have been encouraged to think critically about teaching, learning, and assessment. They have been asked to think deeply about how social, economic, and judicial policies affect the professionals, families, and students in all our institutions. They have thought about how education in a community reveals a community's values, and they have sought to understand and navigate the historical legacies that shape our current systems. The students you hear from today represent students who think carefully about terms like peaceful, inclusive listening, the importance of story, success, power, intelligence, race, equity, grades, athletics, and yes, even what the offerings in a cafeteria can tell us about what matters in a community. They believe in the advice that Rilke gave to young poets and scholars. Yes, getting the right answers is nice, but sometimes it's the challenging questions we must face that truly help us learn, help us understand. Rilke wrote, "Have patience with everything unresolved in your heart, and try to love the questions as if they were locked rooms or books written in a very different language. Live the questions now. Perhaps then, someday, far in the future, you will gradually, without even noticing it, live your way to the answer." The students you hear from today believe in the power and dignity of the relationships that they form as they embrace those meaningful questions, as they seek to understand them while learning with one another. The students you hear from today bring hope and humanity to their research and practice, and therefore to us all. As one student reminded me this week, hey, we are all the future. Now we can decide what to do about it. The commencement ceremony is now in order. Please welcome our host, Barbara Brizuela, Dean of the School of Arts and Sciences, who will offer opening remarks. Dean Brizuela.
Thanks so much, Linda. Can you all hear me? It's a bit cavernous in here, isn't it? So it's a great privilege and pleasure for me to welcome all of you, parents, grandparents, siblings, partners, children, relatives, friends, well-wishers, to this year's commencement ceremony, and to extend my most heartfelt congratulations to the new graduates in the fabulous class of 2026. For today's ceremony, I have picked the topic of relationships to ground my thoughts. Relationships are one of the most important things that I hope you will take with you after your years with us. A network of relationships that will carry you forward and onward into the future. Our colleague Linda Beardsley, I've been in the department, I'm a professor in the department, and I've been in the department for 25 years. Linda has been in the department for all that time, and she often reminds us of just how important relationships are in educational settings, and she actually just talked about them just now, and also in life. So in part, this theme is inspired by Linda. Thanks, Linda. So what do I mean by relationships? First of all, the family or other support systems that brought you here. Maybe it was your parents, your grandparents, an aunt and or uncle, your siblings, a partner, maybe a teacher, a professor, a mentor. That person or those people who believed in you, encouraged you, cheered you on, and were as confident as we were that you would shine at Tufts. So pause for a moment, think about who that person or those people were as you were making your way to Tufts. And if they're in the crowd today, please stand up and wave at them. Come on. Are they here? Wave at them. What else do I mean by relationships? I mean, first and foremost, your friends at Tufts, the people around you, hopefully the people that are sitting right next to you at this very moment. So let's take another pause, turn around. Do you all have your phones with you? Take a selfie, take a picture with them. Take pictures, come on. Take some selfies. The faculty too, take pictures, come on, get your phones out. You all have them anyway. Take pictures. More? Those of you with long arms? Great. So here's where I need you all to not embarrass me and warm up your vocal cords. I'm sure that you're all familiar with one of the most popular songs of the year, Bad Bunny's Debí Tirar Más Fotos. I should have taken more pictures. If you haven't listened to his lyrics, please do so. They will take your breath away. My favorite is Lo que le pasó a Hawaii. Listen to it. So, debí tirar más fotos de cuando te tuve, debí darte más besos y abrazos las veces que pude. Now you know why I'm a professor and I don't have a record deal, but there is deep meaning in his lyrics in this song about moments missed and about melancholy about missing those moments. Now you, unlike Bad Bunny, have your pictures of at least a subset of these relationships that will carry you forward. These are formative relationships. I just went on a trip with my university friends. They've been my friends for 38 years, and we've been in touch almost every single day for 38 years, even though they live over 5,000 miles away. I met their spouses, when they first started to date. Sometimes I also met their second spouses. I met their children from the moment that they were born. I have been part of conversations and reflections as they navigated changing professions or fields or jobs, went through personal challenges, medical challenges. These friendships that you have grown and cultivated at Tufts will be some of the most rewarding relationships in your lives. And please, please make sure that you lean on them. Keep those pictures you just took. I know it's old school, but print them, frame them, put them on your desk. My desk in Ballou Hall has a frame of a picture of those friends of over 38 years that I met when I was 17. I look at that picture every day and I know that they each wish me the very best with no strings attached and pure love. They never feel that I am bragging or showing off when I share something about myself or my daughters. They always want the best for me. Remember that your Tufts friends will be the same for you. What else do I mean by relationships? I mean us, your professors, your mentors at Tufts, the staff and faculty at Tufts who have been part of your growth journey. We too, like your support systems and family prior to coming to Tufts, like your friends all around you, we want the best for you. We are so proud of every single one of your achievements, and we're ready to cheer you on as soon as we learn some news from you, or to cheer you on when your faith in yourselves dips, hopefully only momentarily. We're not only your mentors, we are your coaches too, preparing you for short sprints as well as marathons. Please stay in touch. We are moved and honored when we hear back from you 6 months, 1 year, or even 10 years after your graduation. It's never too late. Don't be shy. We are here to make sure that you are successful in school and life, and we enjoy every minute of making sure that we provide our continued mentorship to you in the years and decades ahead. Don't be strangers. Keep in touch. Finally, what else do I mean by relationships? I am a jumbo myself, so I now welcome you to the Jumbo alumni community. I got my master's degree in this very department. There is an alumni community all around the world. This morning we heard 160 countries, I think, represented among our alumni. People you haven't even met yet, but who have been cheering you on from the moment you decided to enroll at Tufts. These individual alumni and alumni communities are ready to jump into action when you reach out, when you need a connection, when you need professional advice, when you want to figure out your next steps. They too, like your family, like your friends, like us, your professors, are all invested in your professional, but even more so in your personal success. Please reach out to them directly or through our alumni engagement office. So as we send you off into your post-Tufts life, your family and other support systems, your friends, your Tufts professors and mentors, and all of the alumni around the entire world, we are all cheering you on. Congratulations, Jumbos.
Thank you, Dean Brizuela. During both the education and leadership ceremonies, as I said, we will be hearing from the students. We ask that you hold your applause until the full cohort has been recognized. Jasmine Garrett and Tianyu Hu will start us off by speaking on behalf of the undergraduate baccalaureate program in education.
Good morning, graduates,
families,
professors.
and friends.
Thank you for attending and celebrating this joyous and momentous occasion with us. We could not have made it without your support.
My name is Tianyu Wu, co-majoring in education and biology.
My name is Jasmine Garrett, co-majoring in education and child study and human development.
The place was warm, the lighting soft, the chairs comfortable, the kind of place where nothing felt urgent. Outside, the inequality was something people lived with. Inside, it was something we discussed. This place was an education classroom. We both had our start in the classroom as students, and from our studies, we have long imagined returning to the classroom as teachers.
Entering Tufts, I knew I wanted to major in education and become a teacher, but I was uncertain about the community I would find. But after taking identities in education in my freshman fall, I realized I was surrounded by critical thinkers who were dedicated to the child as a human being and not simply another student in the classroom.
Unlike Jasmine, I had done some things related to education and teaching before, but I hadn't officially taken a single course in this field until my junior year when I had my first education class. And honestly, I took all of them in the same semester. The feeling was like buying tons of snacks that looks good, but that I'd never tried before.
There are a set of questions that are asked in almost every education class. Why be educated? What is a good education? How do we solve inequalities within education? As I took more classes in the department, not only did my perspectives broaden through lengthy yet insightful class discussions, but my network also expanded into the tight-knit community of the education department. It is such a delight to see a familiar face in each one of my classes and feel comfortable sharing my thoughts freely with my peers and professors.
It is easy for people to argue that education classes are just a group of privileged people sitting in cozy classroom talking about issues everyone is already aware of and engaging in self-congratulation. However, what made us consistently passionate about education is how the actual people interact with the real life issues. What we discuss in class reflect our own personal interactions with the same society we live in, and reflecting on schools and learning, which we have spent most of our lives in so far, is rare in other classes. Classes in the education department are small, and each of us shares our own stories.
Throughout our 4 years here, these experiences and stories have helped us find our passion in the education field and develop the voice and skills to advocate for that passion.
These passions are represented in our senior capstone project.
Lily formulated a more accessible course design for Western Political Thought 1, fueled by her experiences being a 6th grade English teacher at McGlynn Middle School.
Gary interviewed her friend from his friend Veronica twice and reflected deeply on the Chinese education system and how it contrasts with international systems.
Lucy created a guidebook for educators about how to identify and support youth who have to take care of themselves and another family member while in school.
He examined how public school funding structures affect the education system in Boston and how policy shapes student outcomes in urban public schools.
Sadie focused on the role that a thematic unit study can play in the elementary school classroom and created a bird watching study for it.
Tess explored the intersection between her interest in children's literature and education and helping young children talk about difficult subjects.
Tianyu's capstone highlighted her commitment to cross-cultural pedagogy.
And Jasmine's capstone focused on the power of place-based education.
It has been amazing to learn alongside all of you in the classes we've had with you, and then to see those ideas come to fruition in your capstones. Now it is time for us to walk out of this cozy classroom. The outside world may not be as peaceful, but we carry with us the passion and knowledge we found and learned here.
Education does not end today. It is always continuing in how we think, act, and connect with others. As we move forward, we hope to stay curious, stay passionate, and use what we have learned to make a difference.
Thank you.
Thank you, Jasmine and Tianyu. We will now recognize the recipients of the Bachelor of Arts degree in education.
Jasmine Garrett. Jasmine Garrett. Can you hear me? Tianyu Hu. Sadie Goldstein. Lucy Elizabeth Clark. Tess Olney. Gary Young. Read the last name. Murilu Mascarenas. Let's take my glasses off to read it.
Claudia Lee Waman and Otto Vok will now speak on behalf of the Education Studies program.
Good morning, friends, family.
Claudia and I met taking Dr. Justin Jimenez's core seminar class for the Education Studies Department our first semester.
On our first session, some of us sat outside Page Hall as Justin asked questions, getting to know us.
What brought you here?
What is your expectation for this master program? And somehow, that questions felt much bigger than I expected it to feel. Because questions like that are never only questions, they carry stories about
Who we think belongs in rooms like these,
stories about what it means to be educated,
or what it means to be a good educator. How can I be a good educator if I haven't always been an ideal student, or get my assignments done in time, or keep using spot search on Zotero to keep up with discussions on readings I never got to? How can I be a good teacher and listen to the news cycle, not be distracted to make a do now? How can I be a good teacher if I can't get out of bed?
And we arrived to classrooms already carrying those stories. Some inherit, some resistant, some still unfolding, and education lives inside them. Sometimes it repeats those stories, sometimes it challenges them, sometimes it helps us to imagine new ones, because education does not only happen inside classrooms, it happens in conversations, in friendship, in communities, in the people who help us imagine that another version of ourselves is possible, que sí podemos construir algo mejor juntos.
We can build something better together. There's a particular shame that washes over you when you're thinking about dropping out while studying to be an educator, a better, more equitable, effective educator, because you feel too defeated. It conflicts with the story you're trying to tell about yourself. Claudia and I entered the program somewhat jaded by the decades of research and critical pedagogies that have long named and identified an open secret.
That current state of education and its policies are harmful for too many of its students.
Too many of its students, from what I've witnessed in public schools in my country,
And in my country too, rugged individualism resulting in chronic isolation.
grades acting as prescriptive surveillance rather than informative and caring assessment, remedial programs that reify the ghosts of segregation rather than address them,
Education shapes the stories we carry about ourselves and about each other. So maybe the questions we continue carry with us is this:
what stories do we want to sustain together?
and what stories do we want to learn to question more critically? Maybe what matters most is not finding the correct answer, but learning to ask different and better questions.
And growing tolerance to sit with answers with no defined silhouette, that stay dynamic and shift from when and where we're looking and by who is doing the observing.
In the end, what is education?
What stopped me from dropping out was Justin telling me in his office hours, to me, education is a form of care work.
Education is the stories we share about the world we want to belong to and about how we want to care about each other.
So if you really want an education,
Start by looking after one another.
thank you, Justin,
For your care
for your pedagogy.
that got us here.
Thank you. Thank you, Claudia and Otto. Co-directors Shamika Powell and Brian Gravel will now recognize the recipients of the Master of Arts degree in Educational Studies.
Claudia Lee Waman. Otto Bach. Emily Bailey. Megan Driscoll. Tufts Board of Trustees member and Educational Studies graduate, Ka Oru Indo.
Next, Hannah Parath will speak on behalf of the students in the Art Education MAT program.
Hello, deans, faculty, family, friends, and fellow educators. Thank you to all for allowing me the honor to speak on behalf of the MAT and Art Education cohort. Teaching is the only profession where the least experienced individuals are placed in the highest need situations. That idea has stayed with me since the very beginning of my time in the Tufts Art Education program. I can still picture the moment in Christopher Hall's class when I first read those words and how quickly my mind started turning. Now looking back, I understand why that statement rings so true. This MAT program hasn't just prepared us, it has transformed us into educators. I never imagined that a group of people could grow so much in such a short time, yet here we are, ready to take on whatever opportunities come our way. That growth didn't happen by itself. It's because of this cohort pushing one another, inspiring one another, and showing up for each other at every step. I'm deeply grateful for the educators who guided us and gave us the opportunity to learn alongside them. And of course, there aren't enough words to thank Alicia Gray and Patricia Palmer. Their encouragement and support are unmatched. They've shown us what it means to be dedicated, compassionate art educators, guiding us through a wide range of experiences, from the Institute of Contemporary Art to the Isabella Stewart Gardner Museum, and even stepping into mom roles during our trip to Chicago for NAEA. Felicia truly sits at the heart of this program, and because of them, each of us can step confidently into any role as an art educator. Thank you.
Thank you, Hannah. Patricia Palmer Director of Art Education, joined by education faculty members, will now recognize the recipients of the Master of Arts in Teaching degree in Art Education.
Hannah Porth. Becky Mason. Michaela Carroll. Catherine Jazinski. Dina Katz. Anna Garrity. Rob Kwan Chai Madayampo. Lauren Marie Carlino. Mariel Lannis. Zoe Leah Munoz. Juliana Gabriel. Isabella Colantonio.
Love those stoles.
Next, Ilan Samani will speak on behalf of the middle and high school EdT program.
All right, mic check. Cool. All right, so good morning, everybody. And I'd like to start to speak by thanking my parents, siblings, students, and mentors that come there this year. One more person, or not really person, I'd like to thank is my dog Perla. She's a 13-year-old Chihuahua. She made the trip to Massachusetts. Her birthday on Wednesday. But roughly 1 year ago today, I graduated from the school finishing up my undergrad. In the year that followed, I've had to do a lot of hard work. I read so much theory over the summer that I probably find reading very little theory for the rest of my life. But more importantly, the theory were the conversation we've had together. I hope I'll be able to impact the way you view education, the way you change my view. If I had to restart my entire year, I wouldn't change a thing from it. I'd have great conversation with you guys again. Beyond that, the academic highlight of my year, for not just me, but for the rest of my cohort, would be our placement. We learned how ugly, thankless, and brutal the job. And yet, here we stand with our certification completed and diploma in our hands, ready to teach for a long time.
Somerville High School, specifically Period 6, for being so good to me over the past year, but with that in mind, we've made it. We stared into the abyss and we didn't blink. And now, together we get the privilege of serving children who need quality educators now more than ever. Thank you.
Thank you, Ilan. Ryan Redmond, Director of Middle and High School Education, joined by the Middle and High School Education faculty members, will now recognize the recipients of the Master of Arts in Teaching in Middle and High School Education.
Elon Solano. Ilan Elias Solano. Colin Bailey. Ryan Tracy. Anna Catherine McDonald. Elena Stanton Shepard. Catherine Ho Richardson. John Reisert. Samuel Shraver. Amiri Ayana. Jessica Lee. Dan Huang.
Lucas Travasos Lomba will now speak on behalf of the school psychology program.
What's up, Tufts, friends and family? To those who know me, I promise I'm not going to say anything too radical today. If you're anything like my family, you may not fully understand what we do as school psychologists. You might think that we're social workers, school counselors, or teachers. We are not. You might think that we're here getting our master's or our PhD today. We're not, but if you want to call me Dr. Lamba, I'm cool with that. We are school psychologists, and we're here getting our education specialist degree. Instead of describing what a school psychologist is or what we actually do, I thought it'd be more meaningful to touch on just some of the attributes my colleagues brought into our spaces here and will undoubtedly guide their future practice. I have to say, I've been blessed with learning with some of the most kind, most creative, thoughtful, and intelligent people I've been around in my life. There have been so many moments that have defined and encapsulated our time here at Tufts. For me, it's been the spirited political and philosophical conversations after class with Shanika, to absolutely hilarious moments and jokes with Emma and Abby, to doing themed Shrek Halloween costumes with Rebecca and Allie. We've all had our own moments here, and I think most of them are worth holding on to. My colleagues all operate with an immense amount of respect and empathy for the people that they interact with. We're all consistent, reliable, and like I said, some of us are genuinely hilarious. But we're all a little different too. Some of us are bold and loud, others are a little more quiet and reserved, but I know all of my colleagues go above and beyond for the students they work with and support. I've learned so much from my cohort, and I'm thankful I can call a handful of you my close friends. As great as this moment is as an individual and personal achievement, I think it's also a community achievement. None of us could get through life or this program alone. A lot of the characteristics I just briefly named are really a reflection of the people and communities that we come from. You've given us the space to grow and make mistakes. You've taught us lessons and told us stories. And I think most importantly, we've been shown a level of unconditional love that has allowed us to push through whatever adversity has come our way. That means that if you're here, you're a part of our story and a part of this achievement. So to everyone who was able to make it today and to those who weren't, genuinely thank you. And I want to give a special thank you to my family, to you guys. We've been through a lot, we've blocked out a lot, but in the words of our late father, or should I say in his eyes, we are a formidable family. And I don't think I can fully talk about community without mentioning our professors, especially these three. I'm thankful for a lot of the interactions I've had with each and every one of you, and I know my colleagues feel very similarly. Some of our professors have really modeled what advocacy looks like through complicated personal and professional circumstance. They've shared their own experiences navigating schools and departments, and I really believe they prepped us well for what we might see in our future careers. It goes without saying, but our time here hasn't been all rainbows and sunshine. There are a lot of different challenges for each of us getting through this program, but I think what's most telling is the way we responded to those moments. We responded with empathy, with grace, and with hard work, which are all essential traits of any successful school psychologist. I want to leave you with a quote from Martin Luther King Jr., who said, "Not everybody can be famous, but everybody can be great because greatness is determined by service. You only need a heart full of grace and a soul generated by love." Congratulations to my colleagues and the class of 2026.
Thank you, Lucas. Faculty member Meredith Edelstein, joined by school psychology faculty, will now recognize the recipients of the Education Specialist degree in school psychology.
Lucas Lamba. Caroline E. Crocker. Colleen Foley. Maria Ramos. Sophia Lord. Megan Brooks. Caroline San Angelo. Alyssa Hoyt. Amy Hoffman. Emma Corcoran. I liked it. Abigail Kabelski. Allison Harris Nyer. Rebecca Weiss. Marie Rose McKinley. Shanika Jonathas. Jessie Chan. Brenna Lee Donahue. Nina Wilson. Kiara Sanchez. Melania Magala.
Next, Brian Gravel, Director of STEM Education, joined by STEM Education faculty members, will now recognize the recipients of the Master of Arts degree in STEM Education.
Samantha Conflitti. Gus Welsh. Pragi Shrestha. Lambert Nyonsenga. Our next students are recipients of Doctorate of Philosophy in STEM Education. Simone Renee Nicholson. Yume Monghua Xu.
That concludes our recognition of the graduates in the Department of Education. A warm round of applause for all those graduates. I now have the pleasure of introducing the Director of the Leadership Program, Lilu Barbos.
Thank you, Linda. Hello, graduates. Make some noise, graduates. All right. It's an honor to stand here today in celebration of our graduates. You know, each year, graduating degree students conduct original research and complete a final project in order to satisfy the overall degree. And these students here produced original work focused on a multitude of critical social issues, issues of equity and justice, issues that illuminate disparities, inequities, and structural barriers reflected across a range of institutions and sectors of society. And in addition, their work brings attention to the implications and the needed call to action for leadership today. Our guest speaker today is one of those very talented students. And so we'll now hear from Zanita Reed to speak on behalf of the leadership program.
Last but not least, good afternoon, everyone. I was not supposed to be here. I finished my undergraduate degree with a 2.6 GPA. I was unfocused, at times lost, and I was relieved to finally close that chapter and put it behind me. Graduate school was not something I allowed myself to imagine, and for a long time, I convinced myself that that was fine. But something kept pulling at me. I am the daughter of Barbadian immigrants who believed without question that education was the way forward. I am the younger sister of a PhD who showed me by example what it looks like to never stop learning. Those voices never went quiet. I had just not found the right program. When I found the DJIL program at Tufts, I knew. I was a marketing executive with nearly 2 decades in the industry, and I had reached the point where professional success alone was not enough. I wanted to understand leadership more deeply. I wanted to think more rigorously about equity, about systems, and how organizations change and why they resist it. This program offered all of that, and it asked something real of me in return. What I did not anticipate was how much it would ask beyond the academic. This program does not let you stay comfortable. It pushes you to examine your own assumptions, sit with difficult questions, and engage honestly with the people around you. My cohort made that possible. We came from different industries, different backgrounds, different points in our career, and we showed up for each other anyway. That is not something you can manufacture. It is something this program creates. I also want to acknowledge that doing this work right now in this current climate takes something extra. The values at the core of this program, equity, ethical leadership, systems thinking, service, have not changed because the political weather has. If anything, this moment asks more of us, not less, and that is the change that we carry out here today. To the faculty who believed in us, thank you. To my family, especially my husband, Robert, thank you for holding things together while I was becoming someone new. And to my father, who passed away in December, you told me education was power, and you were right. This degree is yours too, Dad. Congratulations, class of 2026.
Thank you, Zanita. And we'll now recognize the recipients of the Master of Arts degree in leadership. Zanita Reed with a Master's in Leadership with a concentration in Diversity, Equity, Justice, and Inclusion. Tara Barlett with a Master's in Leadership with a concentration in Diversity, Equity, Inclusion, and Justice Leadership. Allison Alexandria Anderson with a Master's in Diversity and Inclusion Leadership. Ryoka Teramachi with a Master's in Diversity, Equity, Inclusion, and Justice Leadership. Heidi Lau with a Master's in Leadership and a concentration in Diversity, Equity, Inclusion, and Justice Leadership. Megan Lycona Jackson with a Master's in Leadership with a concentration in Diversity, Equity, Inclusion, and Justice Leadership. Alexandria Lenora Ayon with a master's in leadership and a concentration in diversity, equity, inclusion, and justice leadership. Gonna miss you. Justin Gunn with a master's in leadership. Please join me in congratulating all of the graduates from the leadership program and the Department of Education. Make some noise, everybody. Show some love.
We will be concluding shortly, but before we do, it is time once again to give thanks to all those who have made today a success. Our families, friends, facilities staff, photography and sound staff, education and leadership staff, including Kristen Bates, Capron Lighting and Sound, Grad Images Photography, April Bergeron, Philip Gay, Michelle Paré, Tamar Slavit, and Jasper Zelmer. Thank you. Graduates, congratulations. You will receive an electronic version of your diploma via email. I love that I have to say that every year. The traditional bound and decorated diploma will be mailed to your diploma address as entered in the SIS. Congratulations to all our graduates and their families. I would like to ask that all family members remain seated till we've all processed out. But before we all process out and go our separate ways to celebrate what has been, I hope you all take from this Phase 2 ceremony that often feels like the ending of so many aspects of one's experience, that this is also a commencement, a true beginning. I think the poet John O'Donohue says it best in this brief poem called For a New Beginning. In the out-of-way places of the heart, where your thoughts never seek to wander, this beginning has been quietly forming, waiting until you were ready to emerge. Though your destination is not yet clear, you can trust the promise of this opening. Unfurl yourself into the grace of beginning that is one with your life's desire. Awaken your spirit to adventure. Hold nothing back. Learn to find ease in risk. Soon you will be home in a new rhythm, for your soul senses the world that awaits you. Congratulations, all of you.